I'm joined alongside ASU Volleyball's new head coach, JJ Van Niel. Welcome to Tempe. How are you enjoying the Valley so far?
Thank you. Loving it. I wish the warm weather would start getting here. It's been a little cold, but no, it's great. This is, one of the jobs I always felt was a dream job, partially because of the location. I think Tempe is just such a cool city, lots of food, lots of places to go, things to do. So it's been awesome.
Now let's travel back a few months around Christmas time when you got that phone call. Just take me through the emotions when you heard that you were going to be the new coach.
A little bit overwhelmed. I've got a family, kids, and you're like, wow, this is real. And no matter how much you prepare for it, you're still like, okay, they might say no, whatever. So it was just a great feeling, my wife, my kids, everyone was really excited about it, really happy, getting the head coach opportunity, and especially at a school like Arizona State. And I think, as I've said in some other interviews, like the passion that the administration had through the whole process just helps get you excited, and so I get really fired up.
You coached at USC and of course Utah.
Yep.
So how do you think coaching at Pac-12 schools will help you here?
I think there's a few things. One, you kind of know the travel, the routine, you know what you're getting into. I think you kind of start knowing how all the schools are as far as just kind of how they train. You get kind of a good feel. And then of course, you're in the recruiting footprint. And so everywhere I've been recruiting it's the same. If I took a job on the East Coast, then I've got to get to know all those clubs better and develop those relationships. So I think that part is really nice. It fits well into kind of what I've been doing.
And on top of your collegiate coaching, you also have worked with Team USA.
Yep.
Alongside Coach Karai, and I know you have a special relationship with him.
Yeah.
So how do you think that's helped you just develop as a coach?
I think anytime you're around good coaches and mentors, you learn. And I think one of the cool things about Karch that's always just in the back of my mind is how obsessive he is about getting better. And this is arguably the greatest player ever in the history of the game, at least coming from the U.S., and then really has become one of the greatest coaches. I mean, he's done something that no one else has done with winning the Olympics, winning the World Championship, both as a player and a coach. And yet, every time you talk to him, it's always a conversation about, like, how do I get better? How can I be better for my players? How do we get better as coaches? And so I think that is really, really inspirational, knowing that someone who's at the top of their game is always looking for the edge, or how do we get better? How do we do things better? So I try to do that myself.
And now recruiting, it's going to be essential to your team's success this season. You have only 9 players on this current roster. Yeah. So when you're going to these tournaments, these showcases, what do you look for in a player that you want to be wearing the maroon and gold?
I think there's some general things that everyone looks for. You want, when you're talking about attackers, you're looking for people that have big arms, so they hit hard, explosive athletes that get off the ground quick. There's some platform skills. I mean, I think everyone's got their own flavor. Our goal is going to be to run kind of a faster offense, similar to USA, and doing some stuff that they do at the men's international level. So you're looking at athletes that can kind of fill that role.
And on top of your collegiate coaching, work with Team USA, you also coach at the club level. So how do you think that will help you with not only your California connection, because you coached at Coast down in San Diego, but also just knowing the landscape of club volleyball?
I think, look, we're in a relationship business. It's relationships with your players. You got to have good relationships with them, and then with clubs. I mean, the reality is they're pretty vital to your success. And I think when you've been a club coach, you kind of know some of the things that make it special to be a club coach, like how you talk to the coaches, how you interact with them. And so I try to always remember those types of things when I'm out there chatting with the club coaches, and they're really, really important, and they're developing your future athletes. And I think you have to have good relationships with them where they're going to be honest with you about the kids, and they're going to give you heads up when they have, kind of people that maybe you wouldn't know should be someone you should recruit.
It's so important right now to be implementing your style or offensive scheme. So what are your main goals for these spring practices and then also heading into August?
I think part of it, well, look, spring is really for us about culture. I mean, honestly, it's establishing the culture that we want, and the kids that are here are helping define that too, which is really fun. When it comes to playing, it's just making sure we're really constantly prioritizing things. Like serving is really important to us, so we're hitting that a lot, and we try to play games that serving's a focus and do things to get them fired up about serving. And then today we actually started implementing some new play sets, which was fun. It was a little messy, and we told them, you know, Macy, me, and Presley were like, hey, it's going to be ugly, and that's okay, that's good, right? Because that's how you learn and get better. So yeah, it's just really kind of learning the systems and then really being great on culture.
You brought on some amazing coaches, so just take me through that thought process of selecting your coaching staff.
Yeah, Presley was very highly recommended by so many people, despite the fact that, you know, she doesn't have a ton of experience. What she does bring is just an exuberance and an amazing personality. I mean, she will just walk into the room. The amount of club people that have like reached back out to me already, of like, oh my gosh, Presley was in our gym, it was amazing. Just how she interacts with people. And as I said earlier, this is a relationship business. Like, there's the X's and O's, and every coach in the country knows those pretty well. And you got to be great with the relationships. That's with players, with the clubs, with each other. And I think she really is kind of a connector and a glue person there. And no matter where you send her, she's going to connect with people. And so it just, every time I would talk to her, it was like over and over and over. It reminded me of how engaging she was and how much I enjoyed talking to her. And so that was kind of the Presley thing. And she knows, I mean, she was a middle. She knows how to run the systems that I want to run because she was running them back when she was at Cal. And so there was a lot of fit from that standpoint as well. And she's local from Arizona. For someone that didn't go to Arizona State, she's really passionate about Arizona State, which is cool because you want that. And her dad was a wrestler here. And then Macy, Macy was interesting. I feel like I've never worked harder to get someone than Macy when it comes to recruiting, no matter what player it was in the past. She's really thoughtful, really diligent, takes her time, goes through everything of why she would want to join here. We had some really good conversations, a lot of them, and she's a really, really strong recruiter. She's the most recent, you know, great player here. The last time she was here, they went to the tournament all 4 years, and depending on who you talk to, the last year, unfortunately, she got hurt, and that kind of torpedoed their season. But I think she was averaging close to 5 kills a set. It was actually my first year in college volleyball, and I mean, they were looking like they could be a Elite 8, Final Four team. They were amazing. And so I think there's another one that's just really passionate about Arizona, the Valley. There's a ton of club talent out here, and so we got to be really good there. And so we brought some local homegrown people back into the mix.
I love it. And we're sitting right here on the court of DFA, and in August you guys are going to be playing here with fans all around. So just how excited are you to be able to coach at Arizona State University?
Fired up. This is one of my favorite arenas in the Pac-12. I loved competing here. The 942, like, they'll get it packed and they're loud and obnoxious and it's fun. And so for me, I always think about what's the environment you want, and it's the type of environment that you can get recruits fired up about. So I can't wait to get to August. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Coach. I appreciate the time, and I wish you the best of luck. Can't wait to see what you do at the helm of ASU Volleyball.
Thank you.